a hurricane, and a pregnancy. I'm Ed Kelley, editor of The Oklahoman. With me from Washington is Mark Green, national editorial writer for The Oklahoman and a frequent contributor here on News OK TV. Two big stories here at the start of the work week, Mark, the biggest one being Hurricane Gustav. The Republicans from the White House to the McCain campaign to the governors of the coastal states took great pains to help mobilize preparation and evacuation. How would you grade their responses so far?
Well, Ed, I think the response so far has been very good, although, of course, it must be said that Gustav turned out to be not anywhere near the kind of storm that Katrina was.
Right.
The point being, though, that the authorities, the federal, state, and local authorities, did a much better job this time of getting people out of New Orleans and the surrounding areas. I think 2 million or so people evacuated. And if you look back at Katrina, of course, that was the huge problem, that there were so many people that were left behind to experience the flooding and the lack of power and the lack of any social services. This time they were prepared and got those people to higher ground, out of the way, in case the worst did happen. It didn't happen, and they still got a lot of work to do down there, cleaning up debris, and there has been some flooding. They've got a lot of power out, but they're in a much better position, that is, the authorities are, to go in and take care of those things than they were, obviously, after Katrina.
Okay, Mark, speaking of Republicans, they still obviously have their convention in Minnesota this week. How can they use the rest of their time together in St. Paul to sort of regain the momentum in their presidential campaign?
Well, I think they have to obviously put their best foot forward in a hurry, and they are getting back to normal today with their schedule, but it's going to be pared down. They're going to eliminate some speakers. I see that Rudy Giuliani is not going to deliver a speech at the convention. They've had to pick and choose among their speakers because typically conventions are just one speaker after another. They've had to make some choices since they obviously lost a day.
Right.
But they've got to get out their message. They've got to present their two candidates, John McCain and Sarah Palin, in a positive way and in a reassuring way. And they've got to go after Barack Obama and Joe Biden. I think they've got to put forward the things that they will want to stand for, their message primarily being one of change, their own kind of change, and also to protect the country.
You mentioned Sarah Palin. She obviously speaks to the convention on Wednesday night. How does a revelation that her 17-year-old unmarried daughter is pregnant, how will that play out in the coming days and weeks, do you think?
Well, I kind of think that it's going to have a limited shelf life. I think that the whole Sarah Palin resume is that of a regular American.
Right.
And these kinds of things, an unexpected pregnancy among one of your children, these kinds of things happen to real Americans. They happen in real families. They happen in good families. And I think, if anything, it underscores that part of her appeal to the McCain campaign, to the McCain ticket, that she represents a non-Washington face. She has a non-Washington experience. She has a real family, and I think that's part of her appeal. I think that as the thing goes forward, as the campaign goes forward, the revelation about her daughter and some other things will have a lot less impact on the campaign than what Sarah Palin has to say for herself, and indeed how she stands up under the scrutiny that she's now getting.
Okay, Mark, well done. Thank you. Stay on News OK for more coverage of Hurricane Gustav and its aftermath, as well as Republicans' convention in St. Paul.